These are Mexican sunflower or tithonia, and the pollinators love them. And I'm watching a monarch coming in right over here and two swallowtails. There's a bee tree right down there by the wetlands, an old walnut tree that's split, and the honeybees have built a hive in there, and they're laying honey in there by the gallons. I bought the plant from Territorial Seed, and they grafted Brandywine genetics on a wild tomato rootstock that gives the tomato resistance to viruses and diseases and gives more energy into the Brandywine tomato. And that's a Brandywine that's sort of coming along late in the season. It's not ripe yet. But typically they're bigger than that and redder than that, pink red. And take the pods and dry them until they're crispy like this. And I have 42 varieties of bean, and that's one of them. This one is called Superlative, which is actually a green bean, but it had such pretty seeds, I grew it for the seeds. In the 42 varieties I put through here, like 10 or so are very similar, but they all have different names. Like there's 3 or 4 varieties of Orloto, which is an Italian bean, one of my favorites. And then there are varieties that are similar to that, but smaller and different shapes and colors. And they all have their own names, and so people grow out those seeds and protect them so they keep the same genetics year after year. Like I've got Mossholder's wild goose bean in here. The story is that Mossholder, like one of our relatives maybe, a Mossholder, shot this goose like hundreds of years ago, or 100 years ago, and the goose fell, and they butchered it and opened its craw, and there were these beans. The goose had eaten them somewhere and flown over, and boom, down it came. And so they took the beans out, dried them, planted them in the spring, and this is Mossholder's wild goose. That's a pole bean down here, and over here in the dried beans is one called Canada wild goose. The same story, but it happened in Canada. Mennonite purple stripe. That's the bean. And it's got little purple stripes in, and it looks like a Mennonite, doesn't it? Coming out of the pod, this is in the leather stage. Look at that bean. Gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Oh, that one I'll grow again. It's a big bean, it's fat, it's beautiful, it probably tastes good. I don't know, I haven't tried them yet. Sadie's horse bean is a honkin' big bean. Look at these pods up here. It's a semi-runner, and it, if I can find the dry one, there are genetics within here. You get a red bean, a white bean, a black bean, and a brown and a yellow stripes of all different varieties of colors within the pod. Now here's a Sadie's horse there. That's the red with the purple stripe. These are Pennsylvania German red lima, planted this spring, and they are seeds from Landis Valley Farm Museum. And they are a red bean, a lima, a red lima that is small and has been grown traditionally by Pennsylvania Dutch people, they say, and that's why the museum sells the seed. And the story is that they were probably used for chow chow because they're so small and pretty to color up the chow chow. The Chinese red noodle bean grows long like that. It looks like a snake. And it's very prolific. I just picked them yesterday, but you can see the little ones coming on here. They will be, tomorrow they'll be that long. They grow very fast. They taste really good. They're like snap bean. And they keep their purple color when you cook them. I mean, it's just paradise in here. Everything's quiet. I had a mockingbird that lived in that, I think she nested over there. And I would come out here, and as soon as I'd walk in, the mockingbird would sit right on these poles up here and look at me and start to talk. And you know, whistle, 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 whistle. So I'd whistle back, and we'd have a conversation going for an hour.